So good day, hope you're good. These are my notes for USD core CPI. So as I go through my notes, I'm just going to be showing you the relation of the notes based on what happened today. The 12th of July, 2023, USD core CPI happened about an hour and 10 minutes ago. So from my notes, basically a safe entry, you have to enter after 1 minute. Okay. So let's go to the 1 minute mark. Let's see if we can get there since a lot of time has elapsed. So safe trade is to trade after 1 minute. Okay, so basically this was the first minute or the minute of the news. Like this is 14:31 SA time, or 14:30 rather. Okay, 14:30 to 14:31, that's the candle. So we had this nice morning star here. Nice BOBs here, but for now, I won't talk about other components. I just want to talk like based on the notes. So it says enter after 1 minute. Okay, after the minute, we want to see the probability of this trade playing out. So after 1 minute, how many pips negative and how many pips positive did we get? So the minute of the news to this low here, we've got 12 pips. To this high here, we've got about 7 pips. Okay, then to this low here, to the 50 EMA, we've got 20 pips, and to this high here, we've got 27, 28, almost 30 pips. Excuse me. So there's variations to this. Price can either just push, the next candles will just be clean, like it will continue being bullish, or they can retrace like they did here, or they can fake out. So the chances of price playing out the way it played out is between 70 to 80% of the times. Okay. So trading after 1 minute would it have been profitable? It depends with your risk mainly. Are you risking 10, 20, 30 pips? Are you using your basic risk to reward 1:2, 1:3, or something like that? So this was the example. So if you had taken your trade here, it just depends whether are you willing to hold. Right? Are you willing to hold this drawdown or not? That's the whole point. But otherwise, price eventually pushed up. Okay, so this is not the cleanest of trades. As you can see, there was like 1, 2, 3, sort of 2 or 3 pullbacks there before price continued to push up, taking out these highs as well, this high as well. What you can also do is after the first minute is elapsed, you just mark your high here. Pullback happens, you can trade a buy stop here. But as you can see, like I said, we had a bit of a drawdown because price even took out this low here. So these are just variations. It just depends on what you're looking for. So that's one thing to look at. The next thing is check DXY H1 for price action. DXY wasn't clean. What is DXY? DXY is the dollar index. So I don't think I have it on this indicator or on this platform. I don't have it, so I'm going to skip that one. Then it says check on the left for any peaks. Check on the left for any peaks. So it could be a peak formation low, it could be a peak formation high. So on our current, let me use H1 for this. The best time frame to check peaks will be H1, right? So let's quickly go to H1. So H1, you can see this how price was looking like. With this high, and a slightly higher here, which was the current peak at that particular point in time. But the reason I wasn't so happy with this as a peak is because if you notice between this peak and this one, there is no acceleration. For a peak to be valid, you want to see like an accelerated move like this, showing that they're inducing people to buy. Then they will reverse the price. Get it? So I wasn't happy with that peak. Basically, that's why my trade wasn't executed. But I'm just going to show another example. Let's say you are coming from the bottom side. You can see this peak here We had an explosive move up, right? Price came back down aggressively. At some point, this candle was solid red, right? They took out liquidity here. So this makes this peak valid. It's different from the peak we had here. We didn't really have anything like an aggressive move up. But this looks like it could be a peak formation high for the week. So after this, I'll be looking for support sales. But just talking on core CPI, the peak here wasn't valid for us to actually take sales. Okay, so the next thing is H1 for shark fin. H1 for shark fin. So this was the move we had. This was Asian, and this wasn't really a shark fin. There's no shark fin there. Nothing I could use. A shark fin is basically something like this. Something like this. If you follow our lessons, you should know what a shark fin is. So there was no shark fin here. That means we could not sell, right? But if we had a shark fin, then we could have actually sold and we would have seen this price actually fall down. Next thing, TDI squeeze below the 50 static. Did we have a squeeze? Squeeze mainly. Also check our YouTube videos for TDI squeeze, but to check a squeeze mainly we use M15. So on M15, did we have a squeeze? Okay, no squeeze here. Squeeze is basically where this is a squeeze. Okay, good example. That's a squeeze. If we had a squeeze here on the top side, then we're definitely going to sell. If we had a squeeze on the bottom side, then we're definitely going to execute the buys. Okay, but we did not have a squeeze. Hence, we did not have any reason to actually trade core CPI because we didn't have a setup. So check TDI squeeze below or above the 50 static, right? If it happens above, price will melt. This is the 50 static, the 50 level on your indicator on the bottom. So you can see here it happened above, even though this was not core CPI, the setup is valid for any technicals. Okay. So here we had a squeeze above. I won't explain any other things. I'm just going to stick to these notes so that I don't waste time. So the fact that we didn't have a squeeze here, we didn't take the trade. But a squeeze is something like this. If it happens on the top side of the 50 static, you look for sells. If it happens on the bottom side, you look for buys. Okay. The next thing is check each one for levels of drop to buy. Check levels of the cycle. This is BTMM cycles. I mean, so if you want to check cycles, you use H1. What is levels? Quick explanation. Levels is basically when price, okay, after a peak formation low, for example, peak formation low, price does one level of rise, second level of rise. This is actually the third level of rise. You can see with this acceleration. So let's say core CPI was happening now. This would have been the third level of rise, right? So we would have been looking for sales. But here we are still in the cycle. We're still pushing up. BTMM cycle, briefly, just to summarize it. After price sets a peak formation low, we expect the first level of rise, second level, third level. Then price sets a peak formation high, first level drop, second level, third level, like that. Right? These are levels 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But levels differ. That's also another lesson on its own. You can have a 2-level cycle. You can have 3 levels like this. Then price hits a reset here. Then it starts again 1, 2, 3 going up before it sets a peak. Then it starts dropping, something like that. So here we didn't really have like a clean level 3 for us to say we actually looking for sales. So we didn't have a reason to sell there. Next day trade retracement with no doubt. That's for tomorrow. Usually there will be a retracement. It also depends with the way the core CPI has happened in terms of levels. Okay, so we could have a retracement. It might happen now. But in this example, I'm anticipating a peak here. So it will be something like this, right? Or maybe 3 hits. It will just depend with how price moves. So I won't go much into that. So the dealer clears the board on other pairs. JPI trade agent session. A peak and a BOB is key to 90% success. So if you get a peak formation, right, like this, and you get a baseline. So let's say we didn't have this price, there's nothing here, and this is our peak, and we are having the BLB is a baseline bounce. A peak which happens in line with the baseline bounce is a short kill, right? So we had nothing here, no baseline bounce, no peak. What else? Direction of CPI is opposite London session. Okay, let's talk about this for a moment. We're going to go to M15 so that we can see the flow of price during London session. So it says the flow of price, or rather direction of CPI is opposite London session moves. So this, all these notes, this happens 70 to 80% of the times. Okay, so we have to agree that this is the London session high. Price was coming down, right? The fact that we didn't take a buy is because we just didn't have like many confluences to actually agree with us. But if we had taken a buy, we would have been a very huge profit. So direction of London, CPI goes opposite. We agree, right? So let's look at other pairs. USD, CHF. We're going to look at pairs which are in line with the USD, since this is USD or CPI. So we're just going to look at a few pairs, starting with UF. You should know the abbreviations of these pairs as well. So USD CHF is abbreviated as UF. Okay. UF was flat. London high, London low. There was no direction. This was pretty much flat, right? Maybe you might say, okay, this was the low, this was the high, then we slanting up here. So core CPI is opposite London move. We had no clean setup here, no reason to trade. But if you're just using that confluence, then you can still take your trade, stop loss, price fell. I'm going to look, we're looking for something which had a clean London move and a clean opposite move at core CPI, so that you can just see that these notes have been well back tested. So this is more like us back testing how our notes are. Okay, this is a clean one. GU London session, do we agree that we were pushing down? Yes, we were. 200 EMA peak order block, one of our signature trade setups. Clean push at CPI, clean push up, okay, and price continued to push up. So this was one of the best setups, right? 15.15, this was 15.30. Let's do this. There's 80 pips on that move. So I just want to do, yeah, this was the 15.30 candle, just confirming. So as you can see from the notes, direction of CPI is opposite London session. So what I'm going to do is probably the next, all the events throughout this year until we finish, I'll just compile all CPI events so that you can see that these notes are correct. Okay, so do we agree that London session we were bearish? Core CPI opposite London move. There we go. So this was one of the cleanest, like 10 out of 10. Why? Because there's many confluences coming into play, especially the 200 EMA right here, and the peak being set at 15 minutes before core CPI. Right. Okay, then TDI really didn't have nothing clear. It's more like a divergent type setup. But yeah, we had our notes lining up there. Let's check USD kid. Then we're going to check gold. We're just going to check the major ones. We're not going to look at all the USD pairs. Okay, in these notes, you can try them, you can test them out on all events. You don't have to trade, just check, or maybe trade on demo, see how that goes. So you see, okay, this was the London highs, this was the London lows prior to the news. So this one wasn't clean, this was ugly. We're pushing down, then we pushed back up, so we're more or less in a range. This one was ugly, no trade there. So if something is not clear, simple, don't trade. Okay, so let's look at gold. Is gold? But then we're going to look maybe at one index. Okay, so on gold, okay, this is just making a lot of noise. Okay. All right, gold was almost flat. This was the London session. You can see we were sort of trickling a bit to the low, but this is more or less like a range. So gold was not clean. I would have loved if price comes in, hits here like it did on GU. That's 10 out of 10%, 10 out of 10 setup. So if they hit here, then it would have been a lovely trade to take buys. It would have been a clean setup. Right, so if you see this was ugly. Nothing was clean here. Okay, this was gold. What else? What else? EU. Or I was on EU just. Okay. And it's on EU. Let's just go back to it because now I'm anticipating a peak. Once a peak is set, I'm going to be looking for sales on EU. Our average daily range is 63. So if you understand BTMM, if you understand how we trade, average daily range is 63 pips. Today we've already moved 97 pips. Right, so it's now possible to get an intraday reversal, right, to close off the day. So that's what I'm looking for now. Even though the setup is not yet formed completely, still waiting for a high of the day to be locked. Once it's locked, we'll be looking to execute sales, but we won't be talking much about that since we just want to finish this month. Next, if unclear, just follow the system never lies. System is basically BTMM, our strategy, how we trade. What validates buys on a normal day? What validates sales on a normal day? That's the basics. So if things are not clear, follow the system. If the system is also unclear, then you don't trade. Then the other thing is a negative CPI means a negative dollar, positive CPI means positive dollar. So you should just look at investing.com or Forex Factory, where you can check the results, but you only see this 1 minute after the news have released. So if the dollar is weak, you look to sell all USD, all pairs with USD on the left, which is the base currency, and something else, which is the quote. So base currency, if the dollar is weak, right, after 1 minute, you sell USD. If it's strong, then you buy USD, pairs with USD on the left. So here today, I think the dollar was weak, if I'm not mistaken. Hence, you can see the euro overcame the dollar and continued to push up. So this, you only see it 1 minute after the event. So there's nothing wrong trading after the event. This is 15 minutes after the event. The trade is still valid. You can still see the buys were pretty much valid. So they actually moved like 30 more pips 15 minutes after the event. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with trading after the actual event. Then what else? Trade UJ for more pips. All right, UJ. Let's see how UJ performed based on the notes. You can see I haven't even opened it. I didn't check it. So we want to see if it actually moved more pips. More than everything else. I don't think it did, but let's calculate. So you can see there was a clean drop. UJ, however, based on our notes, remember, there's a note saying the move is opposite London. So again here, London wasn't clean. There was no clean setup, hence we didn't take the trade. Let's calculate the pips. How much did this price drop? 78 pips on one candlestick. All right, 78 pips. I think it's, oh, yes, 80 pips actually. Yeah, between 70 to 80 pips, which is not bad, right, on one candlestick. So if we had gotten confluences here, we could have executed a nice sell, 70 pips, 15 minutes, done for the day. That's a lot of money, well, depending on the risk as well. But yeah, UJ from my notes is the one which moves most on core CPI in terms of pips. Okay, so the next is watch oil. It goes with EU. Then they say, okay, before we go to oil, watch GJ for a stop hunt, then kill the trade. So we actually executed GJ. I will try to show you the results. I'll try to show you the results with GG. Where is it? There it is. So on GJ, during the news, you watch to see if they give you a stop hunt. If they do give you a stop hunt, you execute your trade in the direction opposite the stop hunt. Okay, let's just wait for the chart to load. Okay, you see I left one trade here. I just wanted to see how far it would push up. But you can see trade was executed here. Slightly late, but not bad. So this was the stop hunt during core CPI. Then from here, the price moved to the 50 EMA, 30 pips. That's not bad for a day. 30 pips well executed is not bad. So to show you that the trade was executed, again, this is an FGMO trial account. So let me see if I can show you the results. Because trade was executed. How do we see our results here? Count history. Okay, we only want to see today, right? Let me see. So today you can check the date and the time. I think this is the time I closed the trade. But basically you can see the 12th GG executed. I took 20 pips on this trade. It was a buy, profit. And just so I think I had 3 positions. I had 4 positions actually. Okay, there you can see the other position, GJ. So I had 2 big positions, then I had 2 small ones. Okay, this is the 7th of July. That was my last trade last week. So this is the other one with the smaller lot. You can see the lot size here, trade executed, almost 20 pips as well, but I closed them same time. Then I left one position. I just wanted to see if they can run to the 200 EMA. However, from the weekly, they look like GJ is bearish. Okay, so that's why I actually took my profits when I hit my target. Just left a runner to see how price plays out. So you can see from the notes, it's all about execution, right? It's all about execution. So what I will do here, I think I'll actually click trading. Okay, I actually wanna close this trade as well because there's no point in holding it. Okay, just a tiny loss there, almost a break even, the last position. Okay, we're done. So you can see we're done there. Close this. Then the next note is watch oil. It usually from my notes, oil goes with EU. And there's usually a 30-minute reversal, right? After the news, like 30 minutes after there's a reversal. I didn't open oil today, so let's see if it lines up with the notes. Okay, just waiting for the chart to load. Okay, US oil or WTI oil. Let's see. The notes say oil go in line with Euro USD. So Euro USD was bullish. What we want to check now is during the time of core CPI, this was the move, right? 15 minutes after core CPI, this was the candlestick, right? It closed right there. Slight pullback and a continuation. That means we could still have traded oil right at the top of this candle. Like I said, sometimes you want to mark either the high of that candle or the high of the body, then you want to hit it with a buy stop. Stop loss just below that last low, M15 or M5. Then the price actually pushed up, right? So now possible reversal could happen. This could be the potential high of today. So every reversal you trade, if you're trading on method BTMM, you want to take profit on the 50 EMA. That will be your TP. But if it's the peak formation high, we will expect this high to be challenged tomorrow so that we can comfortably take sales since we know that this is the peak formation high. So this is my core CPI notes. If you still need any more information based on what I was talking about, you are free to hit me up. I'm not sure where you're seeing this video, if it's YouTube. So you can hit me up on the comments, hit me up on the email, Telegram, WhatsApp. I think all our information is there on the YouTube description. So if you still need more information on these fundamental events, then you can just hit me up. So let me see. I'm trying to type. So okay, there we go. So these are the events which we have notes on. USD or CPI. Right, we also have NFP. We also have notes on interest rate decision. So that's from your euro. Basically, it's the same. So I'm just going to say interest rate. All interest rate decision, our notes are basically the same. And the notes are based on what I've seen price. It's based on price action, right? What I've seen price do before, during, and after the actual event. So we've got interest rate decision. What else do we have? We got USD GDP. Usually the GDP which comes with the initial job claims. Okay. What else do we have? We've got USD. And yes, you can see it's mainly on USD since it's the most volatile major currency. So we have USD, PPI, MOM, notes on those. And we also have notes on USD, ISM, non-manufacturing, PMI. And we also have notes on, okay, I wanted to move this up. So it's now all jumbled up here with the core CPI, but you should know this is one thing. So it's USD, ISM, non-manufacturing, PMI is one thing. Then core CPI is on its own. Then let me just actually make it clear. Okay, let me write it at the bottom there. So that's USD, ISM. Let me see if I can. Okay, USD, ISM, non-manufacturing. Non-manufacturing, PMI. All these events, these are the three bull events on your news app, like your investing.com or your Forex Factory, whatever you use. And I think that's about it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and FOMC. Okay, FOMC. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. What's happening? Okay, there we go. FOMC. Slash Fed interest rate. Okay, so these are our major events which we actually have notes on. We've back tested them. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me see, do we have 7 here? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the news events which we have notes on. Based on technicals, based on price action before, during, and after the event. So if you need these notes, all of them, they will definitely come at a price, because this is no overnight things which we just guess. It's things which we actually backtest. The same way I've shown you how core CPI was traded today. You don't necessarily have to risk your money on one thing. You can simply wait and see which asset has got the most favorable confluences based on what you understand before you execute a trade. If nothing on the notes lines up with what you're seeing in the chart, you do not trade. Best trade is no trade. Okay, so this is me signing out. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. No peak, no trade, CPI, we'll say that. Okay, one other thing on CPI. Let's quickly, so the fact is we've already taken a trade. We wouldn't want to trade again, but if price breaks here, we're looking for shorts. Let's go back to EU, which is our main. Oh, I wanted to look at one index. So I'll quickly, okay, just want to check EU first. EU, possible peak formation high, so we'll be looking for sales, but apart from what we're talking about, nothing else to talk about here. Okay, so if there's no peak, based on what I was talking about, if you don't see any peak, it means there's no trade. Sit on your hands, save your capital, don't gamble, don't try to make a lot of money on one news event, because you end up blowing, and a setup shows after you blow, then you stress. Okay, so this is US 500 again. US 500, we didn't have a clean setup here. Nothing clean. They didn't go down during what you call it, during London session. They were actually pushing up, and for the news they just continued up. Okay, so we had no setup there. Let me quickly look at the US 100 Nasdaq. Let's see if we had a setup on one of these indices. Okay, excuse my network, it's slightly a bit slow. Okay, US 100 also didn't have a clean setup, unless maybe people caught it in the morning, then they just held. But for me personally, I didn't have a setup. Right, okay, what else? US 30. Same, so all the indices basically they had the same pattern. No clear setup personally for me. Those who traded indices and caught the moves, well done to you guys. All money is good money. Well done to you. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Core CPI notes. This is how we trade during a day when we have fundamentals. So if you need notes on the other events I've mentioned, those definitely come at a price. Let's meet on the next core CPI event. I'll try to do live trading on that so that people can actually see us take the live trades during the news event. So I hope this helped. It's really nothing major, just like an overview of what transpired. So if you find this helpful, like the video, share it. Subscribe to the channel also. That also helps us. Then yeah, this is just for people who trade using BTMM. There is nothing fancy here. This is a method by Steve Mauro. He's the originator. Those who want to learn can go straight to him on his website. I'll try to put it on my description because all credit goes to the originator of the strategy. But all these notes, these are my personal notes. So, you know, with the strategy, you always have to tweak it to your own understanding. And that's what I share. There is nothing fancy about what I share. It's just simple price action, simple moving averages, TDI indicator, and that's it. This template is for free. If you need a template like this, if you trade using this method and you need this template exactly as mine, this is for free. I can send it to you via Telegram. Then for any other questions, you can just hit me up on Telegram or WhatsApp, or even in the comments. I'll respond. And yeah, let's get active. I've been away for a while. Like my last videos here, it's been a while. So let's get back in action. Let's trade prop firms. Let's do it maybe in the near future. Hey sis, what's up? I'm good. I'm coming. All right. All right. So I think that's it for today, guys. You have a good day.